So, just because a guy ends up signing a contract, does that mean his job is secure with his hockey team? I mean, you can make the debate that, yeah, of course it does. Why else would the Montreal Canadiens sign Kirby Dach to a 1-year, one-way contract worth $3.6 million a year, unless they actually thought he was worth keeping around? Well, today we're going over an idea that was posted about by Mike Vini that dives into whether or not Kirby Dach is actually going to be a Canadian at the start of the season, or if he's gonna get traded. Vini said this when the Canadiens ended up signing Dach to his 1-year, one-way contract. You don't let assets walk for nothing. He either starts the season in the bottom 6, or he's traded. Not qualifying Dach would have been a waste. I don't know what anybody could be mad about here. Now, obviously, Vini is referring to the fact that the Montreal Canadiens did tender an offer to Kirby Dach. Said offer was in a two-way capacity, which raised a lot of questions as to where the Montreal Canadiens viewed Dach internally. Sure, he's a guy that had some pretty hot playoff moments in the 2026 postseason, but he hasn't been reliable in the Canadiens lineup outside of that. He, of course, had a really bad fumble, which led to the Canadiens losing game number 2 in the first place, which led to his heroics in game number 3 against Tampa Bay. But other than that, Kirby Dach is a player who has not been able to stay healthy. He has lost so much time in the Montreal Canadiens lineup, and when he has been in the lineup, it's not like his point production is absolutely superior to the point where it's like, this is definitely a player that's worth keeping around, even with the injury concerns. Dach is a pretty mid player, if we're being honest here. 15 points, 37 games played. Do the math over 84, because that's the new length of the NHL season. That's a 34-point pace in this most recent campaign, projected over a full year. That's not great. That's not really what we thought Dach would become. I've mentioned this a bunch, but back when he was taken 3rd overall by the Blackhawks, we thought he would be a Ryan Getzlaf-esque playmaker and point producer. That's not what the Canadiens have in Kirby Dach. And so Vini is essentially going out there and saying that for Dach, the end is near in both capacities. If he starts the season in the bottom 6, I don't really know if Dach has the chops to be able to infiltrate the top 6 of the Montreal Canadiens. Let's be real, he only has 2 spots where he could actually dethrone somebody. He's not dethroning Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, or Demidov. You're going to have 2 other spots taken by other players. It's kind of loose right now whom it is will actually be placed by the Canadiens in those spots. But either way, Kirby Dach is probably a bottom 6 guy for the Montreal Canadiens next year. Either that or he is going to be traded. As for this sentence over here, if the Canadiens just decided, hey, we don't really want this guy anymore, we don't think he's that good anymore, let's not qualify him and let him walk, then that would have been losing him out for nothing as well. Bye-bye to the first-round pick that you got for Alexander Romanov back in the day. Let's go out there and read some of the replies to this Vini tweet. There are rumors that the Canadiens have tried to trade him at the trade deadline and at this summer, and no one wanted him. You can't call that an asset. It was too big of a risk when they traded for him, and now he has no value aside from what he can do on the ice for the Habs, which isn't much. He was decent in the playoffs. Take what you can get from him. $3 million is nothing. And then Matt says, hey, Dach had 3 decent games. That money should have been spent on Duhaime or Greer. At least you know what you're getting with them. Hey, Greer was able to get 17 goals, so there is certainly a level of skill in his profile that I just don't know is all too present with Kirby Dach in 2026. This perspective is also fair as well. $3 million isn't really that expensive. I'm just kind of going out there and discussing about this guy because I think he's the easiest tradable name to bring up in this conversation right now. But at the same time, the fact that Dach was a third overall guy, he's never going to be able to shake that off. And for a lot of these players taken in that spot in particular, I feel like a lot of them got so doomed and brought down because of the draft position, because everybody was looking at Dach and saying, wow, this guy's going to be Ryan Getzlaf 2.0. He's going to be getting 60, 70 assists per year. Now he can barely crack 60, 70 games per year. You look at Jonathan Drouin, and everybody was like, oh, that guy's amazing. He's third overall. He's going to be a top guy. But then there were issues, and he wasn't able to really break past that. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, wow, third overall guy. He's going to be the next Barkov. Guess what? Nah, he didn't play a single playoff game as the Carolina Hurricanes went out there and won the Stanley Cup. And then you have Alex Galchenyuk as well, another one of these guys that just did not live up to the hype. It's very odd, the amount of third overall names that end up disappointing in the long term. The only ones that haven't are like Heiskanen, Draisaitl. Take your pick. There are a number of third overall guys over the past few years that have been decent to good. But Kirby Dach, he's running out of time to put himself into that conversation. He's already 25 years old, people. This is not a player that seems to have a long-term future with the Montreal Canadiens, unless he goes out there and literally has that miracle season that we were all hoping for in 2026, 2027. Hey, if he's able to go out there and provide 50 assists and 15 to 20 goals, then color me shocked. I'd love to see that. Dach probably has it in him for his own representation and his own career to play the best that he can, to also maximize the amount of money he can get in 2027 after all. No? So if some of these other predictions go out there and come true, give Dach one more chance, start him as a second-line center with Demidov. If the Canadiens don't make a trade, see what they can do together. Okay, fine. If there isn't a trade, then maybe that's what you do. But my question is as well, do the Montreal Canadiens and Kent Hughes see enough value in Dach to confidently go into the start of the upcoming season like, yeah, this is going to be our second-line center. It's going to be Kirby Dach, it's going to be Suzuki, and it's going to be Dach. Maybe back when he was acquired by Montreal, that idea was actually seen as a good thing. But now it's been 4 years of disappointing and absent play from Dach in the Canadiens lineup. And I just don't know where that starts out in 2026, 2027. Mike Vini is saying, hey, it's bottom six or trade. You can't start this guy out in the top six, and you also could not have just let him walk. That would have been losing value for nothing. The Montreal Canadiens, they don't really have the option to go out there and just remove value from their organization. You got to get something for it. Either keep the guy around and flip him later, or find a way to do some sort of a sign and trade, or do something else with the value of that piece. Just don't let it disappear on you like that. So with all that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Where do you see Kirby Dach's point production going this upcoming season, assuming he remains a Canadian? Do you think he should be a Canadian that started the 2026-2027 campaign? Why or why not? Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this Recherche Roll Sign On. And bye.